The Rubicon is a river in Italy. The story goes that at the end of the governorship of Julius Caesar, he was ordered to disband his army and stay north of the Rubicon. When instead Caesar marched his army across the river and towards Rome, it was considered an act of treason and the beginning of the Roman Civil War, at the end of which Caesar would reign victorious. It is said, as he forded the Rubicon, Caesar declared, "The die is cast." In today's vernacular, we refer to a metaphoric Rubicon as the point of no return. Children cross the Rubicon into adulthood. Isolationist governments cross the Rubicon into international politics. Each of us will cast the die several times in our own lives. But we say also that movements, that people, cross the Rubicon when they become irredeemable. When times are bad, we wonder anxiously how far from the Rubicon we are. When does an insurgency become a war, a demonstration, a riot? When is the moment an economy in danger becomes one in collapse? We scan the horizon for the riverbank, hoping we didn't cross it some ways back. The thing about points of no return, the reason we worry over them so much, is it's rare to know where they are until they are some ways behind you. The Rubicon is not the Mississippi. It is a muddy little creek history lost track of for centuries. In the United States, we are increasingly comfortable saying that our democracy is under threat, that we are at risk of descending into authoritarianism. Few are ready to say that the threat has arrived. And I'm referring to myself when I say that. I'm not ready to say it's arrived. No one wants to call it prematurely. The right screams that the left, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, some thinly veiled caricature of the Jews, are ready to kick down your door and bash your teeth in. And I talk about why they say this. Their need to exaggerate the threat from the left so that when they aggress against us, it seems like self-defense, so that we are to blame for any violence we suffer. I talk about the danger of this thinking being accepted. I say the way mainstream conservative politicians and media legitimize these arguments is worrying. But I don't say, they are saying this in preparation to kick down your door and bash in your teeth. I want people to listen to me. I don't want to sound irrational. I don't want to sound like them. And I don't want it to be true yet. Say, for the sake of argument, you are, at this moment, standing ankle deep in the water, desperately wondering how many paces you are from the south bank of the Rubicon. There was a time when any number of things would have been the moment. If you could go back to 2015 and ask, is a candidate promising to jail his political opponents, or a president building concentration camps at the border, or a lame duck provoking an insurrection to overturn a vote, the moment where you would unequivocally call him a fascist? And we would have said, no question. But those moments came, and they went, and we called them troubling, we called them dangerous. But it still seemed alarmist to call them fascist. Journalists and policy wonks still reacted with surprise if you came anywhere near the word.
How can you say that?
You could still run a campaign on reasoning with the right. Republicans have made great strides by being so blatantly horrible that accurately describing their behavior sounds like hyperbole. It seems we are always approaching the other side of the Rubicon, never arriving. We can turn back. The north is still the nearer bank. And there is a knack to this. Everyone expects it to happen all at once, that one day we will wake up to swastikas and kids in cages and unmarked vans disappearing people off the streets. But those all happened on different days. And the swastikas were a natural extension of the barely coded language of the administration's supporters. The cages were the next step after their family separation policy. And the vans were not a surprise after years of police militarization. You don't have to cross the river quickly, just steadily, so that every step makes the last one seem inevitable and the next one obvious. The people who say, this will never happen on our watch, they'll just divert the river south to keep it true. It's losing a little ground on a dozen fronts every day. It's seeing so many lines crossed, you can't even remember where you used to draw them. It's the readiness to give up on things being better and just wanting them to be quiet. I can't tell you if that moment has come. I don't know how to call it any better than you. So instead, I'm going to ask you to do something. I want you to decide, at this moment, what the Rubicon is for you. What is that undeniable instant where if something drastic does not happen immediately, your rights and freedoms are forfeit? And don't show up in my comments saying it already happened years or centuries ago. You're not wrong, but cynicism is acceptance. I'm asking, when would be the time to act? Write it down. Put it on your phone or your dry erase board or a post-it on your bathroom mirror. So when that moment comes, you will remember that this was your Rubicon. Because it won't feel like it anymore. It will feel like the next logical step. And ask yourself, when that moment comes, what is the right thing to do? You don't have to have an answer yet, but think on it, because we haven't been doing it. As a leftist, the futures I envision are full of possibility. I am fond of saying, there are 100 ways forward and only one way back. So many things we could try if we allow ourselves to let go of white supremacy, of capitalism, of patriarchy. Imagining the future is a kind of world building. To be on the left, at least the way I try to do it, is to desire a spreading out, a pluralizing, an abandonment of hierarchy, and a sharing of power between us all. I don't know if that future is likely, but I know it's possible. That's not how things look on the right. For the right, left to its own devices, all roads lead to Rome. There's no telling what you're
That was a good video.
gonna do.
That was a good video. Really had me thinking because I felt like that line was crossed for me in the last 2 weeks and I feel like I'm exploding inside and I'm just sitting doing nothing. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I mean, this is why, chat, this is why leftists will encourage activism in your community. Here, I will link it a few more times. What's the name of the video? The Alt-Right Playbook, the South Bank of the Rubicon. Because Republicans have always, conservatives have always relied on doomerism. They've relied on you writing, oh, well, the moment's passed. We were supposed to act 5 years ago. We were supposed to act a week ago. We were supposed to act yesterday. They want you to do that. They want you to say that. They want you to think that it's too late. Because if you think it's too late, I mean, for the longest time, they pushed the idea that, like, voting didn't matter. You shouldn't vote. Because it doesn't do anything. Which is at least part of the reason why our voting rate is like, what, 60% of the population? We're probably cooked, but it's not over till it's over. Exactly. You ever watch pro games, chat? You ever watch professional teams, esports or legacy sports, as I like to call them? They don't give up. They play until the end. They keep trying, even when it's obvious that they are unbelievably outmatched. Because you don't give up until it's over. I didn't hear no bell. Video name, the Alt-Right Playbook, the South Bank of Rubicon. I also posted it in the link as well. Awesome Italian anime about the rise of neo-fascists on Netflix. It's pretty awesome. Called This World Can't Tear Me Down. Check it out. I never heard of it. I don't think finding the line is the issue. I think that the left is so fractured, it's difficult to find a way to unite and act. Well, the line is just sort of it's a way to prevent complacence. It's so that you don't say, well, it was over this time. Well, it was over this time. Well, it was over this time. It's so that you can draw an actual line in the sand, and that when it gets crossed, you know something needs to happen now. It's to remind yourself that it's not over until it's over, right? That the line is metaphorical in nature. But this is why I always suggest people get invested in local mutual aid, get invested in your local DSA chapter. Because one, being invested in your community, helping those around you, regardless of whether or not it saves the country, you will help the people that you work with or you work to help, to actually literally help, regardless of whether or not the country goes to shit. And two, it's very hard to fall victim to doomerism when you are constantly meeting with other people who are always trying. Going to my weekly DSA meeting today at 4. Yay! For me, the Rubicon was when Trump won the election after having quoted Pinochet multiple times and the Project 2025 was going to be implemented. I have no local DSA chapter. I mean, see if you have like food banks that you can get involved in. See if you have like any type of mutual aid organizations you can get involved in. Because usually the people that work in these nonprofit organizations and charities and just, again, organizations that try and help real people, they're often involved in more than one type of aid. And again, it's hard to fall victim to doomer mentality that there's nothing to do about anything, that nothing will be fixed, nothing can be fixed. When you're constantly talking with and meeting with people who are constantly trying to make the world a little bit better. My only disagreement with the video is that it is anarchist in its suggestion that you personally make some decision. That sounds like adventurism to me. We all need to come together in organization, collectively decide what the group's Rubicon is and have a plan, and group actions will be taken. Organizing with my union and DSA, we can build a militant worker movement and win change. Because if you can reach one person and that person can reach a person and that person can reach a person, it's about something bigger than yourself. If we can convince everyone or most workers in our country, one person at a time, that we're being fucked by capitalist pieces of shit that want to squeeze people for every penny that they are worth, if we can all be on the same side, we can win. We have the right positions. There's more of us than there are of them. But it's about small change, small community change. I mean, think about the press, think about the excitement, think about the number of people that supported Bernie. Those people didn't all just join one Facebook group. A lot of these people joined mutual aid groups in their communities. A lot of those people organized in unions in their companies. A lot of those people organized DSAs in their local DSA chapters in their community. A lot of those people organized separately in their own communities and came together when there was someone to support. And that's the goal, right? It's also not even about money either. The Dems fundraised their asses off and broke records and still lost. Well, yeah, because they lost because they were not fucking pushing for anything. People calling Mike a chatter. Mike is a yapper, not a chatter. Okay, get it right. Oh, God. First timer here. Hi, welcome. Money doesn't mean shit if they don't have popular support. Yup. If your positions are unpopular, what are you gonna fucking do? And like, I need to remind everyone. Just keep your head up high, kings, okay? Because we're on the right side. We're on the side against fucking measles. Okay? The Republican positions on almost everything. Wrong. Know that you get to at least have the assurance that you are on the right side by being on the side of workers, by being on the side of the majority of Americans. No, it's okay. Measles outbreak erupted in one of Texas's least vaccinated counties. 9 cases are confirmed. 3 are probable. Officials say more are likely to come. Health officials in Texas are battling a growing measles outbreak in an area that has some of the state's lowest vaccination rates and highest non-medical exemptions. Just keep chugging some raw milk. Just keep chugging the raw milk. It's gonna save us all. Yeah. Measles.